Hey everyone, how are you doing? Today we're starting a new challenge video and I'm really excited for this. I came up with the rules myself. I came up with them ages ago. It probably was like back in January. So I play tested it back then you know, life happens and you don't get time to start new things, but I've been meaning to do it for ages, so I'm starting it now. And as you can probably see from the title, it is a homeless shelter challenge. And when I was making it, there was a homeless challenge, but there was nothing like this that I saw. But it was a long time. Who knows if anyone's made anything like that since then, but at least when I made it, there was nothing else like it out there. But so basically, the idea of this Let's Play is that the mayor of a town, say in this, you know, instance it's Windenburg, what they've done is they've had a look at sort of the homeless people problem that is happening in the town and found an abandoned old building and said, you guys can live in this house so that you can then get a job, and once you get to level 4 in your career, then you can have a grant to be able to buy your own house, basically. And that's like the system which they've got going. Obviously that's not realistic in real life, and and there's 6 sims. You can't see all of them in this like the screenshot, but there's 6 sims, and obviously that's not realistic in real life. But I'm gonna try and make this Let's Play so it's sort of fun and light-hearted and a bit silly. When I played through it before, it was kind of hilarious. The kind of stuff that happened, it was crazy. But I'm going to try and keep it, you know, enjoyable to watch, obviously. But if at any point you get like a pang of, oh, that's so unfair, or, oh, I feel really bad for that person, and, you know, any of those kinds of feelings, just, you know, take a second to think, well, actually, this happens, if not worse, to people in real life. So what I've done is I've included links in the description below for people who may be near homelessness or want to help out with their local community. I don't know links for other countries, but I've done it in the UK anyway, but I'm sure it's really easy for you to find those kinds of links if you just search on Google. But I really encourage you to try and make a difference in your community, because, you know, I've done, like, I guess backstories for all of these, and for each of the episodes as it goes through there'll be like a short little backstory at the beginning of each one when we go through all the characters. You'll see, you know, how that works in a minute. But that was kind of the idea. But these backstories are based off real people's backstories that possibly I've even heard of, or, you know, met someone who went through this kind of stuff and luckily didn't get home. Bad stuff happens to people and they get in these situations, and any one of us could be in this situation. So I just like you guys to think about that. But anyway, so you want to get the Sims all to level 4, and then they'll be able to move out. So you know the mechanic in the game, if you move out a Sim from a family, they automatically get 20,000 simoleons. That's basically what, I guess, the government or, you know, the mayor would give these Sims. But what I'll do is I'll get out of this mode and I'll get them walking around the house, just so we've got something to look at while this is going on. But so this is the house here. I made this, it's up on the gallery, and I'll just show you. So there's some few rules with how the house is supposed to look. So the first one is that you've got to have 4 child beds, and it's got to be these ones. It can't be those really nice ones from from the kids stuff pack. It's got to be these bad ones, and that's because it gives them the bad moodlet. And this will be because the government can't afford anything else, you know. They've got to have this one. And you also see that I've got 2 sofas around here and then 6 dining chairs. And now the thing with all of these is, if you look at them in the catalogue, where are all of them? They're not coming in. Oh, now they are. But with all of these items, these comfort items, they can't be over comfort 1. They've got to be the worst items that you can get. And then upstairs we have a bathroom over here, and all of these have got to be in the same room like it is for the asylum challenge, and they've got to be the worst quality toilets and showers and sink as well. And also you get, as the entertainment thing, this cheap, it has to be the Penguin TV, but you get this cheap Penguin TV. As you'll notice over here, so the kitchen is actually separate. So you see there's this wall here. Now that is actually because the homeless people in this challenge aren't allowed to cook. And what you have to do is you have to go, so see this has got its own door. Then you have to do lock door for everyone but employees. And that means that all of these Sims won't be able to get into here, apart from if you go onto the fridge and then do hire a caterer. So that's sort of, I guess, how, you know, like the soup kitchen kind of thing comes around. But that actually, you know, has its own difficulties in itself. And also you only start with 100 simoleons. So what you have to do is have to, you know, juggle up on whether you are able to feed them straight away, or you have to wait until they go to work, or you find some other way to make money before you can then get any food. So that's, you start with 100 simoleons, and that's how you get around it. So either you can have no money and have food until they all go to work, or you can use the money for something else, like if you had someone in the painting career or something like that. Alright, and now this is the bit which is possibly confusing. So we have all our Sims out here just chilling and chatting. So I'll pause it right now because these three are the first in we've got in the household. So here we have Poppy, Michaela and Bradley here. And so you actually play these guys in rotation. So on the first day you would play Poppy, the second day you would play Michaela, and then the third day you would play Bradley, and so on. So when you've got people, say Poppy was at work and therefore you couldn't play with anyone because Poppy was at work, what happens is you're able to play the next person in the rotation along here. So that would be Michaela. And then as soon as Poppy came back home, you'd have to play Poppy again. But while Poppy's at work, you're allowed to play the next person in the queue. Now say that both Poppy and Michaela were at work, then you would play Bradley. If Poppy came home and it was Poppy's day, you would go on Poppy and you would play her. If Michaela came home, then you would play Michaela. And I haven't done a score system for this yet, but I've noticed that a lot of people like score systems when it comes to challenges, and I'll sort one out. So it means that basically if you mess any of that, it will just deduct points, but you should try and it just means that you can keep on playing. You don't have to sit around and wait for people to come home from work and do nothing. So there's still some progression, but basically that's the idea behind it. I think I hope I explained that well, because it's hard to explain, you know, a little bit, but it's quite simple. But what I've found is sometimes, especially if you're not playing back to back, when you come back on the game, you can, you know, forget who was in rotation and whose turn it is. So what I think is a good idea is to have an object like a fish, say, like a random fish or a frog, or like a painting, or just an item that people can have in their inventory. And that way, as they go throughout the people, you can move it to whoever's day it is. So Poppy would have it first, then Michaela, etc, etc, and you would keep it in there so you could keep track of the day that you were on. But that was my idea, to maybe make it a little bit easier for you guys if you're prone to get confused about that kind of stuff, because I was. Right, and the next thing is, you'll notice, as I said before, there's only 4 beds. Now in real life there only are a limited amount of beds in a homeless shelter, and obviously there's 6 of them, so you're also not playing The Sims, you know, all of them either. So what happens is that from around midnight to 6 a.m. you have to lock all the doors and you're not allowed to play with The Sims, and they just have to do what they do. But if there is anyone who isn't in these beds and sleep. So say if they're napping on the sofas, or they're just walking around the house and not doing anything, or they're outside, or even if they're at work and they're not asleep in the bed, what you have to do is you have to kick them out. You have to bring them all out here, like I am going to with Poppy now. You have to bring them out here. Now, if she was over on the other side of the house, it would take her a little time to walk outside. So I've given you like a 10-minute leeway point for you to get them all out of the house before you lock the door. So within that time, if one of your Sims autonomously decides that they want to go and sleep, you don't have to exit out of that. But you can't do it on purpose to make your Sim go and sleep if you really want them to sleep. But it means that they have to be out here, and while they're out here, you don't control them. So who knows what they might get up to. They might be asleep on the pavement or on one of these benches, or they might just not sleep at all. But you guys, that's just how it will work. And then we've got like the last couple of little rules, and it's basically that if your Sim, you can have as many Sims as you want to come to visit. That's not a problem at all. If you guys make friends throughout the neighborhood or whatever. And also, if you have like a job requirement, so say that, I think Bradley, I'm going to put him as a businessman. Say we've got him as a businessman, and he needs to go on the computer, and we don't have a computer. Then what you can do is we could make him go to the library, which is over here. So say we make him go to the library and use the computer. While he's there, he can only use the computer to do the actions that he needs to for his work, or socialise, or use the toilet. But anything else, any other action with any other item, he's not allowed to do. He has to come back here. So the only reason that he can go out and do other things is for his work. And that's because of the, I thought that would be like a realistic thing with stigma with homeless people being, chucked out of places and community lots if they're not doing as, the people would want them to. So that's the rules that they've got with approaching other places. And also, they're not allowed in any clubs because that could give them a boost in their career stuff. And anything really in like the future packs, if we've got anything that would boost their ability to level up in all of the careers, like you won't be able to do that. And once someone gets to level 4, then they're allowed to leave the house. So then what happens is if 2 people leave, then you've got to take out one of the beds. If another 2 people leave, you then take out, and so on and so forth. You don't have to touch any of the other furniture though, it's just the beds that you have to remove. And also, if 2 Sims get to level 2 in their careers, then you're allowed to buy 1 skill building item. I suggest using the computer, but it really depends on what kind of careers your Sims have. And then also, when 3 Sims get to level 3, you're allowed to buy 1 more. But other than that, you're not allowed to buy any other items. Like skill building items or items that might help them or anything like that. If you really want to, you can buy like decorations for the house and things with the money which they have, but nothing that's actually going to help them. So that's it for all of the rules. I hope that wasn't confusing. If it was, let me know in the comments and I will answer any questions that you might have. I'm going to try and get out the next episode as soon as I can, and it will start off with Poppy and her backstory, and then after her small backstory we'll show her day in her rotation, and then we'll work our way through all the others. Once I've worked through all of those all the way to Justina, then I won't do any more stories before the episodes, because we already know all the Sims. And if you have any ideas for a mascot that I will transfer between all of their inventories, let me know in the comments. If you have an idea of something that might be funny to put in all of their pockets or whatever to see whose go it is that day, let me know. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this far into the video. I really, really appreciate it. I really hope that this is good. I mean, it was fun to play, but I have no idea if it's going to be good for a let's play, whether you guys are going to enjoy it. So I just really hope that it all works out, honestly. But yeah, can't think of anything else to say. Oh, and some of you might have noticed I've used some Sims that you guys uploaded to the gallery for me. It was 3 of them that I used. It was Poppy, Michaela and Justina. I uploaded that were ones I got from the oh my god, ones which I got from the gallery. And I edited them very, very, very slightly. But I'm sorry that if you really wanted me to use one of your Sims and I didn't end up using them, I'm sorry about that. I may use them at a later date, but just not for this. But I had certain ideas in mind of the kind of characters that I wanted to have in this Let's Play. So that's probably the only reason. You guys made some really awesome Sims, and the creators who made these Sims, I'll leave all their information in the description below, including the gallery link and their name on there and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that's all I needed to say. So thank you very, very much guys for watching, and hopefully see you again soon.